वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भक्तिनैष्ठिकी. Today we are reading from chapter Canto 10, chapter 22. Krishna steals the garments of the unmarried gopis. Verse 1. Sukdev Goswami said, during the first month of the winter season, the young unmarried girls of Gokul observed the vow of worshipping goddess Katyani. For the entire month, they ate only unspiced khichdi. Text 2 and 3. My dear king, after they had bathed in the water of the Yamuna, just as the sun was rising, the gopis made an earthen deity of goddess Durga on the river bank. Then they worshipped her with such aromatic substances as a sandalwood pulp, along with other items, both opulent and simple, including lamps, fruits, betel nuts, newly grown leaves, and fragrant garlands with incense. Text 4. Each of the young unmarried girls performed her worship while chanting the following mantra: O goddess Katyani, O great potency of the Lord, O possessor of great mystic power and mighty controller of all, please make the son of Nand Maharaj my husband. I offer my obeisances unto you. Text 5. Thus, for the entire month, the girls carried out their vow and properly worshipped the goddess Bhadrakali, fully absorbing their minds in Krishna and meditating upon the following thought: May the son of King Nand become my husband. Each day, text 6, each day they rose at dawn, calling out to one another by name. They all held hands and loudly sang the glories of Krishna while going to the Kalindi to take their bath. Text 7. One day they came to the river bank and putting aside their clothing as they had done before, happily played in the water while singing the glories of Krishna. Text 8. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all masters of mystic yoga, was aware of what the gopis were doing, and thus he went there, surrounded by his young companions, to award the gopis the perfection of their endeavor. Text 9. Taking the girl's garments, he quickly climbed to the top of a kadam tree. Then he, as he laughed loudly, and his companions also laughed, he addressed the girls jokingly. Text 7. Lord Krishna said, My dear girls, you may each come here as you wish and take back your garments. I'm telling you the truth and I'm not joking with you, since I see you are fatigued from executing austere vows. Text 11. I have never uh, before spoken a lie, and these boys know it. Therefore, O slender waisted girls, please come forward, either one by one or all together, and pick out your clothes. Text 12. Seeing how Krishna was joking with them, the gopis became fully immersed in love for him, and as they glanced at each other, they began to laugh and joke among themselves, even in their embarrassment. But still they did not come out of the water. Text 13. As Shri Govinda spoke to the gopis in this way, his joking words completely captivated their minds, submerged up to their necks in the cold water. They began to shiver. Thus they addressed him as follows. Text 14. The gopis said, Dear Krishna, don't be unfair. We know that you are the respectable son of Nanda and that you are honored by everyone in Vraja. You are also very dear to us. Please give us back our clothes. We are shivering in the cold water. Text 15. O Shamsundar, We are your maid servants and must do whatever you say, but give us back your back our clothing. You know what the religious principles are, and if you don't give us our clothes, we will have to tell the king, please. Text 16. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, if you girls are actually my maidservants, and if you will really do what I say, then come here with your innocent smiles and let each girl pick out her clothes. If you do not do what I say, I won't give them back to you. And even if the king becomes angry, what can he do? Text 17. Then, shivering from the painful cold, all the young girls rose up out of the water, covering their pubic area with their hands. Text 18. When the Supreme Lord saw how the gopis were struck with embarrassment, he was satisfied by their pure loving affection. Putting their clothes on his shoulder, the Lord smiled and spoke to them with affection. Text 19. Lord Krishna said, you girls bathe naked while executing your vow, and that is certainly an offense against the demigods. To counteract your sin, you should offer your obeisances while placing your joined palms above your heads. Then you should take back your lower garments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mahendra Prabhu, for reading the translations today. And thank you, Sundaran Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to purify my tongue and to share something for the pleasure of all Vaishnavas. Uh, Thank you, dear devotees, for coming together. We had a wonderful God Purnima festival yesterday, and we hope to continue taking advantage of this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam that Srila Prabhupada has given us. We're going to be reading from Canto 10, chapter 22, text 1 to 19, and the chapter is titled Krishna Stealing the Garment of the Unmarried Gopis. I'll start by offering my prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नम ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are continuing our reading of this wonderful pastimes of our Sri Krishna in Vrajbhumi, land of Vrindavan. So as the Lord continues his pastimes, we come to this interesting pastime. Sometimes it's a little difficult to understand in terms of our material perspective and moral and ethical viewpoint. It seems that this is not a very palatable event, something that we can understand easily. But we will discuss a little bit more about that today. And we will also highlight one important point that I came to realize recently while preparing for this talk. So it starts with Sukhdev Goswami describing that now the first month of the winter season was going to come, and the young unmarried gopis of Gokul, they took a vow for 1 month to worship goddess Katayani, and for 1 month they ate only unspiced khichdi. Srila Prabhupada says it's described with a particular word called havishama in the purport. And savishama is prepared by just boiling rice and dal without any haldi or any spices or salt in it. It's just a very bland preparation. And that is the vow of fasting on this particular diet that the gopis take in order to please the goddess Katyayani. And then what they do is after taking the bath in the morning in the river Yamuna, the gopis make a deity of goddess Durga on the river bank. So Prabhupada comments in the purport that Deities can be made of different material elements. You can have deities made of marble, made of copper, made of stone, made of wood. There's so many different elements, and each element can be authorized if it is done according to the description given in the scriptures, according to the particular rituals, and installed by a well qualified Brahmana. Then any material object in that particular way can be fashioned, and the Lord can be invited to to enter into that Archa Vigraha and offer the service from devotees. In this particular way, and the gopis, they use the mud from the river bank to create this deity of Mother Durga, and they worship her with a lot of pomp, and offer different articles of worship. In text 4, it is goes on to says that these gopis, they are praying to goddess Katayani, who's also Mother Durga, uh, who's the great potency of the Lord, that all we want, Mother Durga, is please make Nanda Nandan, the son of Nand Maharaj, my husband. Each of them separately was praying for the same vow, and thus they were offering their obeisances. Now I'd like to pause here, and I'd like to discuss something about Durga Devi. Because sometimes this question is asked. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that the intelligent people, they worship me directly, knowing me to be the supreme controller. And people who are less intelligent, they often take the path of demigod worship. And in that particular way, they get some temporary material benefits and may indirectly be approaching me. So in this way, we can question that why did the gopis, who are such advanced devotees, we are always singing the glories of the gopis. And, we remember the Gopi Geet. Why are they worshipping a demigod like Mother Durga? So first of all, there are two things and two aspects to understand. Is one is who is Durga, and the second is when you worship Durga, what is the mood that a devotee should be worshipping in? And that is what we learn from the movies. So to answer the first question, who's Durga? So in the Chandi section of our Vedas, it is described that Durga Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samasthita. That Durga is the energy of the Lord. She is the potency of the Lord. We understand when we read our scriptures, Srila Prabhupada explains to us that the Lord primarily has three different energies or Shaktis. There is one Shakti that is the living entity, which is called Tathastha Shakti or marginal potency. There is a Shakti that is the internal potency, that is a part of it is called Alahadini Shakti or the Antarangya Shakti, it's also called. There is another third part, which is the external energy, which is called Baharangya Shakti, external potency. So the living entity being the marginal potency, it can either come under the influence of the internal potency, which is also called as Yogamaya, or it can come under the influence of external potency, which is also called Mahamaya. The word Maya, Srila Prabhupada quotes several times, means that which is not. So Mahamaya means Maha means great or powerful. So that energy that creates this illusion, this sense of nidra, as described in this verse from the Chandi section, that the service of this energy, the external energy and the internal energy, is to create a state of sleepiness, so that create a state of avidya or ignorance, so that the living entity forgets who he truly is and tries to enjoy in this material world. Now, what is important to understand that this energy of the Lord is, because my understanding initially was that the external energy is referred to as Durga and the internal energy is separate. But what I came to understand while preparing for this talk, I was reviewing an article that was published in Back to Godhead recently, and that was wonderfully described who Mahamaya is. And actually came to understand that both Mahamaya and Yogamaya, they're actually the same spiritual potency. It is just that we see different natures of it. The author in that article described that as almost seeing that as a split personality. And Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful analogy of we see electricity coming into the house. Now that electricity can be used both for heating things. If you have an electric stove, it can heat it, and you can cook food on it. But the electricity can also be used to cool things and keep it really, really cold and frozen when it is used in the form of a refrigerator. So, how we are approaching it and how we are utilizing the potency depends on how it manifests for us. If we are more inclined towards material sense gratification and only want co- material goals, then this energy manifests to us in the form of Mahamaya, which we commonly understand to be Durga. But Durga is also spiritual potency. When we manifest, when we understand that we are not this body, we are this soul, we are the soul, and our goal in life is to achieve the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, then this energy, same energy, manifests to us in the form of Yogamaya and helps us connect to the Lord. Yoga means to connect, to join, to union. So that energy which helps us to connect with the Lord is called Yogamaya. Now, both these Mayas, sometimes devotees have an understanding that Maya Devi is a very negative character. No, she always hinders people. She obstructs them. We have to defeat Maya. We have to conquer Maya. But when we understand this, Maya Devi is Krishna's energy, she is Durga, we understand that both Yoga Maya and Mahamaya are trying to engage the living entity in the service of the Lord. The way Mahamaya does it, it seems to be contradictory, which in a lot of Veda Shastras, there's so many things that are achintya. But Mahamaya, it puts people in so many different miseries through Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, Adhyatmik Klesh. And through that, it helps people to understand or come to the realization that this material world is not a very happy place. So many times we feel, especially when you're what we call midlife crisis, when you're in this middle of age, you come to this point in life where you question, am I really getting what I want? Is life really the way I thought it should be? Have I really achieved? Will I ever achieve my goals? Is life fair? Why is life so unfair? People ask so many questions. And these questions we ask because of the mercy of Mahamaya, of Durga Devi, because she is making us realize that there are so many miseries in this material world. So she actually helps us, she helps Jivatmas come to this point of what we call escape velocity. When an object is circumnavigating a planet, it's trying to escape its gravitational pull, it has to move fast enough and come to a point, a velocity, where at that point it can break or overcome the gravitational pull of that particular planet. Now, Mahamaya Durga Devi brings us to this point where we realize this material world is frustration. Now, two things can happen. One is we can ask the right question. I'm suffering so much in this world. I'm going through so much. But why is it like that? There must be something better than this. Is there something better than this? Is there a way to know something? Something that is higher, something that is where I don't have to suffer all the time, where I don't have to lose my loved ones, I don't have to go through misery of disease and old age. How do I escape from it? So if we ask that question, we can take advantage of that escape velocity and turn our head towards Krishna. This energy is also called, Yogamaya is also called Unmukha, and Mahamaya is called Avimukha, in the sense that Unmukha means you're turning towards the Lord. So when we reach that point, we can ask this question, and this is an opportunity where Mahamaya can switch into Yogamaya and help us to connect with devotees, help us to understand things, see things clearly, you know, that the problems in this material world are not real problems. The problems in this material world help us deal with those problems, help us understand those problems, because now we can see the veil has been lifted. But unfortunately, a lot of times when people, despite coming to this escape velocity, realizing this material world is trouble, instead of going outward, their questions become, oh, life is so troublesome. Let me try to forget it. Let me try to drink, and so I forget that this life is a misery. Let me try to go and watch a sports match and cheer for a team and forget that this life is misery. So in that particular way, we try to do so many things. Instead of asking the right question, we ask the question is how we can forget this misery instead of understanding how we can escape this misery. But if we try to ask this question, how we can escape this misery, then we come under the shelter of Yoga Maya. Slowly, slowly, that energy changes. So just like Durga is also described as a fort keeper or the jailer in the fort. Um, so people who are creating disturbance, they get punished more and more in the jail. But those prisoners who want to reform, the prisoner or the jailer actually has libraries and vocational education for them to be able to come out of the jail if they're showing the right intent to come back into the spiritual world. So in that particular way, the same energy either will behave with us as Mahamaya or will and when it behaves with us as Mahamaya, it keeps us engaged in our own pastimes. We have our own pastimes and our own Leela. We will think, oh, I'm so great. I can bomb anywhere. I can do anything. I'm the boss of this company. And we this is our own pastime, and Mahamaya keeps us engaged in this forgetfulness and makes us think we are great. Or if we realize that actually I'm nothing, I have no power of my own, but I want to be connected to the Supreme Powerful, then this Mahamaya changes into Yogamaya and connects us into the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Helps us understand the Naam, the Roop, the Guna, the Leela of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in this particular way, when we approach Mother Durga, we can ask for this benediction when we understand clearly what the spiritual position of Durga Devi is. And the other point that we learn from the gopis example is when we approach any situation for the pleasure of Krishna or to achieve something that is going to bring us closer to Krishna, then that is acceptable. Just like in this particular part, we see how the gopis were fervently praying to Mother Katyayani and taking this fasting vow only so that they could have Sri Nandanandan as their husband. And we also see that actually this Yoga Maya that is there, the superior energy of the Lord, we see it we know that the origin of Yoga Maya is the Aladani Shakti, Srimati Radharani. And when we become devotees, we pray, we chant every day, Oh Hara, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in the worship of or service of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. That is the prayer, the meaning of this prayer of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Yoga Maya also manifests in the form of Subhadra Devi, who is the sister of the Lord. And the Yoga Maya is the energy which is actually going to help us connect and advance in our bhakti by slowly, slowly removing the veil and allowing us to directly participate in the pastimes of the Lord and develop a much, much higher state of bhakti that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had espoused, which is the stage of bhakti called Raganuga Bhakti. When Raganuga Bhakti, by the influence of Yoga Maya, we will think that Krishna, not only I am yours, but you are mine. You are my son. You are my lover. You are my friend. I have a right over you. That intimacy, that pastime, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says is what pleases the Lord the most, comes when Yoga Maya allows us to experience that. So in this particular way, we realize, and Srila Prabhupada always gives so much emphasis that the incarnation of Yoga Maya, which is Subhadra Maharani, during the Rath Yatra parade, he would always sit in the chariot of Sri Subhadra Maharani, who's Yoga Maya. In this particular way, we see how both Mahamaya and Yoga Maya are actually helping the living entities, but in different ways. Just like electricity is can be either heating or cooling based on how we approach it. So in this particular way, we see that the gopis were approaching Durga Devi. Thus, for an entire month, they continue this vow and they pray for Krishna to become their husband. And how they do that is each morning they rise at dawn, they sing the glories of Krishna, they go into the river Kalindi and take their bath. But one day, and this Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the commentary, it's described in the purpose, says this was the last day of that month of fasting of vow. So Krishna, knowing, being present in everybody's heart and knowing the hearts of the gopis, that actually they are all praying for me. They all want me to be their husband. And when he came in as Prabhu Sri Ram and he roamed in the forest, there were so many living entities who were attracted to him, so many rishis and munis. But he had said that no, this in this particular avatar as Sri Ramachandra, I have taken the vow of Ekapatni Vrata, of being an ideal human being, ideal man. So I cannot fulfill your wishes now, but in my next the next time when I appear in my original form as Sri Krishna, I will do everything and anything for my devotees. So, in order to please the gopis, we come into this. Lord Krishna comes to this bank and he sits on the Kadamba tree. So he sits on the Kadam tree, and then Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes a very wonderful commentary exchange of what is happening, the conversation that the gopis and Lord Krishna have. So we'll see that. Krishna says, "Oh, my dear girls, you come here and take your garments. And I'm not joking with you because I see you're so tired with doing your fasting. So please come one by one and pick up your clothes." Now, again, like I alluded to this earlier, that sometimes this is so difficult and for us to understand from a material conception of view that Krishna is stealing the garments of the gopis and he is forcing them to appear in front of them in a state of undress. But this is such a it's sort of like such an advanced leela that sometimes it's difficult for us to understand, but we should know that it is very important. Like the Brajavasis glorify this leela every morning when they sing Vibhavari Shesha. They sing Ravana Ankara Makhana Tashakara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Brajera Rakhala Gopa Vindapala Chitahari Bamsidhari. So this Leela, this pastime is remembered by the Vrajvasis each day in the morning. We'll see this wonderful exchange that happens. So, in joking words to captivate their mind, Govinda speaks to them and addresses them as follows. And then the gopis said, Krishna, you are so respectable. You are the son of Nanda Maharaj. And everybody honors you in Braja. Why are you behaving in such a shameless way? You are very dear to us. Please give us back our clothes. Uh, and Sham Sundar says, and they say, "Oh Sham Sundar, we are your maid servants, so we have to do whatever you say because we've given our heart to you. But please don't make us do this. You're making us break religious principles." So, what is the religious principle? It is explained in the purport that the devotees also allude to this, that it is said that one for a woman the chastity is the most important virtue, and to appear in a state of undress before any other man, or when a woman does appear in a state of undress in front of another man, then she has to accept that man as her husband. So although Lord Krishna could not directly marry the gopis because of the pastime that he was playing, he indirectly fulfilled their desire of accepting and becoming their husband by inviting them to come forward in the state of undress. Um, so in this particular way. Now Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is he's describing what conversation happened between the gopis and Shri Krishna. So he goes on to say that Lord Krishna is telling the gopis, "Oh gopis, how much time are you going to take? If you don't come out, then I'm going to make hammocks out of your clothes and hang in the tree, and I'm going to go to sleep. So if you're feeling cold and you're tired from this fasting, you please come out quickly." And then the gopis tell our Sri Krishna, "Oh Krishna, you don't have any other work to do. Your cows are waiting to go to graze and to eat the grass. And if you don't go, they will go here and there and they'll go into caves and get lost. So you please come down, give us our clothes, and you go, and then we will come out." Then Lord Krishna tells the gopis, Oh, gopis, you don't worry about me. You think about yourself. If you don't go back home, you are respectable ladies, then all your parents will think, what happened to our innocent girls? Why have they not come home? And like this, you will be defamed. And then the gopis tell Krishna that Krishna, no, Krishna, no, we will do whatever you say, but why are you behaving like this? So in this particular way, this exchange happens between the gopis and our Sri Krishna. Then shivering from the painful cold, all the girls come up and they present themselves before the Lord. The gopis are struck with embarrassment, but the Lord was satisfied by their pure loving affection. Now, this is a very difficult thing, like for a woman, for a lady to present herself for another individual in the state of undress. But it is not unfathomable that that the gopis of Raja are able to do that, because we when we hear this pastime of how Narad Muni wanted to know who the greatest devotees are, and he goes around asking everybody, because the Lord says, "Bring me the dust of my from the feet of my devotees." And Narad Muni goes around asking everybody, and everybody says, "How can we give our dust to Krishna? We want the dust of Krishna's lotus feet," and everybody rejects Narad Muni. Then finally, the Lord sends him to Vrindavan to the gopis, and instantly the gopis start brushing off their feet and giving their dust to Sri Narad Muni. And Narad Muni questions the gopis, "What are you doing? Are you not afraid? Are you not thinking about what's going to happen to you if I take your dust and put it on the head of Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead?" The gopis say, "No, if even if we have to go to hell for thousands of births, just so that for one moment our dear Sri Krishna's headache can go away by taking our dust, we are ready. We are ready to sign up for that offer." So they are willing to go to hell for thousands of lifetimes. So what is the dilemma for them to come out in front of the water in the state of undress in front of Sri Krishna for his pleasure, for his momentary pleasure, and to show him that we are ready to do anything and everything for you. He is their Prandhan. He owns them. They can do anything and everything for him. And seeing this, the Lord spoke with affection, and he became very, very pleased with it. And then he goes on to again have some more fun exchanges with the gopis, and he talks about this particular sin that they may have done while taking bath in the Yamuna, and um, how they should observe the particular repentance for that, which Krishna Menu Prabhu will discuss more tomorrow. And I'm not so much qualified, but I'm sure he will discuss more and help us understand this Leela and the depth of this Leela a little bit more. So I'll end my discussion today, but I hope we learn something about Durga Devi, and how even the worship in the right way for the right reason, the right understanding, that bringing us closer to Krishna, we can approach the Durga Devi in this particular way. With this, I'll end our discussion today. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavins ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shubhji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chaitanya Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.